Welcome to the segment of the show we call Hellbent for Horrible Questions, where I invite guests on to talk about their art and answer some horrible, horrible questions. And today, our guests are Kevin and Jennifer Sludder, the creative team behind Sunshine Boy Productions, where they've produced several short films for up-and-coming filmmakers that work in the horror and science fiction genres. In 2017, Kevin directed his first short film, Heartless, with Jennifer as executive producer. And the film has been getting great reviews from sources like The Midnight Horror Show and Horror Freak News and Film Threat. Heartless won the special jury prize at the Cinema Fantastique Film Fest and was nominated for both Best Short and Best Director at the Horror Hound Film Festival, which is where I got to catch the film. And Heartless will be screening at the Women in Horror Film Festival October 4th through the 7th in Peachtree City, Georgia, where I'm going to be as well. It's nominated for Best Psychological Horror Short and Best Narrative Drive. I'll be attending the festival. You should too. And Kevin and Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. We're really excited to be here.
I was really happy to see Heartless, and I loved the very beginning, which reminded me of Funny Games. You had that great driving score, and so I'm glad to hear that that may have been something that you tried for.
Yeah, that was the idea behind it. We were looking for a song to kind of put the audience in the world of the Shelby character, because you have classical music playing, and then we're like, what could really jar them and let them know it's not a Disney film? We got some dark stuff coming up, and one of the producers on the film, Jose Gonzalez, sent me that Dillinger track, and I was just like, oh man! As soon as it said "Watch That Smile Down," I was like, oh wow, okay, that's going to work. We'll just have to figure out the timing of it and how much of it we can use in the segment. But yeah, it was a lock for that song. Called up the label. They were excited about it, and rest is history. But yes, it's definitely an allusion to or an homage to Funny Games, the home invasion movie.
So before we talk about you being at the Women in Horror Film Festival, let's dig down into Heartless. Tell us a little bit about Heartless.
It is a horror short film based on Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. It takes place in a corporate atmosphere, so I was going for kind of an American Psycho vibe with it. And it's about ad exec who, if you know the story of Telltale Heart, Poe's masterpiece, she did some bad stuff the night before, and she's trying to do a presentation, and what she did the night before starts messing with her in more and more gory ways as the story goes on. It's, in my opinion, a lot of dark comic fun, nice gore effects, and people have generally had a good time watching it.
Yeah. Well, you talked about the humor, because there's a nasty satire. There's some serious dark humor that's mixed in with the horror. Now, comedy timing's hard. Horror timing is hard as well. So what made you choose horror comedy as a style for the first time you were behind the camera?
It came from just how to deal with the story itself and modernizing it and putting it in that modern atmosphere. Telltale Heart's been done a lot. And typically it's the period piece, and it's usually pretty dark, no humor. But when I said it in modern day, I was like, man, this is going to be really, really heavy unless I kind of take it up a little bit. So I thought up, well, what would be something that would take the Shelby character back into memory she doesn't necessarily want to remember, and I thought up the misogynistic workplace, the antagonism on that front to kind of, she needs triggers to go back to these memories. And the more I worked on that, the more arch these guys got, the more I just kind of pumped it up. And then it just got to be fun, just seeing how offensive they could be in a little bit of time. And it's almost like a contest. It's only about a page and a half scene. And I think they insult her or demean her, I think 5 times in that or 6 times in that little space.
Yeah.
So, it was something that I wanted to also emphasize, how the aggressive corporate environment can create monsters out of people. So it just kind of all came together that way. But it was just a way of balancing out the extreme gore that I was going to be dealing with. I felt like the comedy would be a good way to do it. And it had to be dark comedy because it's a rather dark story.
Sure. Now, you talked about workplaces, and I'm interested because, Jennifer, I noticed that your lead, Stacey Snider, was in a film you both executive produced, Feeding Time. So she must have liked the style of what you guys did in the way of you work. So what's the philosophy behind Sunshine Boy Productions?
Well, thanks for asking. And yeah, we love Stacey. We did meet her at first on the Feeding Time set. Actually, Kevin met her in the casting call, and that's where they chose her for Feeding Time. And the philosophy behind our work is basically trying to create an environment for people to be able to do the best that they can do. We want to be able to provide every little possible thing so that they feel comfortable and safe and confident. Like we had Ross Shawcorn was our
stunt coordinator.
He made sure that like everything we were doing, even though it wasn't like crazy hanging out of helicopter stunts, we still wanted everybody to feel safe and be able to just go there as an actor and be comfortable in that nothing's going to happen that's bad. He was literally on his knees ready to catch Claire as she's falling at one point, just to make sure she could do that fall and be comfortable. So, our philosophy is basically just find people that are perfect for the job and just let them do their job, give them the products, the tools, all the support for whatever they may need to help them create this product as a whole. So I think that's pretty much.
That's pretty nice. Right? Yeah, that's really good. I have to remember that. That would be my spiel from now on.
When you walk into work, remember it. When we're talking about Poe, you mentioned it's been done a million times, and most of the time the theme is, guilt will eat you alive. But the way that your show tends to go in the last couple minutes, I'm not necessarily sure that's what the theme is. Can you give a little bit of an idea what you think the theme is?
I went more with corporate ambition and it's a. I don't want to give away the ending or anything. But she's triggered by guilt. She's triggered by feeling bad about things. But it's kind of a dark empowerment arc that was created, and you can take that or leave that. But in the modern workplace, it seems to resonate with people. Just kind of a wish fulfillment. I think one review said a gore-filled wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
It was a thing where I did want kind of a different ending of the story, because the original story ends with him basically ripping up the boards and saying, "That's the beating of the hideous heart." And you don't know what happens to those three guys. I mean, this is a crazy dude. You don't know. Maybe
right.
He takes that board and he just whacks these three detectives. You don't know. So, I was like, well, let's just take it a step further and take it, one more notch on the arc of the main character and have her be plagued by guilt, but more her ambition wins out and leaves you with the ending that you have.
Well, congratulations on all the nominations. I know that it's playing at least close to 10 or 12 different festivals in the next 2 months. So it's getting seen by quite a few people.
Yeah, we just announced Screamfest today, so we're really excited about that. So if you're in LA, come down and see it. It's a really fun festival, and we've been in there 3 straight years, with different things. But this is the first thing I've directed, so I'm very excited about having something I directed playing in that festival. And we're playing Nightmares, and we just heard from New York City Horror Festival and Upstate New York. We're playing both of those. So it's going to be, if you're following this on social media, there's going to be more and more announcements coming out. But we've been really, really excited about the festival run, and all the audiences are different, and all the all the feedback from people is different, and they respond to different things, and it's really fun.
So you're going to be down at the Women in Horror Film Festival, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to be there.
Yes.
Like out and stuff. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So since this is your first time there, and obviously you've been to a whole bunch of film festivals, because before you had your own company, I think you were working on full-length feature films with some different folks. And so there's a lot that you've been through. As artists and guests, I'll ask both of you, what do you hope to experience at film festivals, and specifically at Women in Horror?
Yeah, can we take that? Okay. So, well, we both love being at festivals. I mean, it's grueling because you're sitting and watching films for hours and hours and hours on end, and then you go out very late at night, every night usually, to hang out with all the filmmakers. But it's all fun. So the beauty of the festival is getting to see your hard work up on the big screen, in a way that you might not be able to otherwise, and to share it with an audience. And the other wonderful thing is we always joke about going to film festivals outside of Los Angeles. We go there to meet more people making film like we are than inside of Los Angeles.
We've made way more LA filmmakers at film festivals than you do in town.
Yeah, not here, but it's like the people who are making the kind of films you want to make too. So you make lots of your friends, and you get to support their work and go see that. And lots of times people end up collaborating together and being screened again at the same festival. Two people that happened at FilmQuest. Two people that worked on separate films ended up collaborating, and being their film together was accepted the next year. So for women in horror, it's a topic near and dear to my heart, because there is such disparity in the workplace for female filmmakers all around, above and below the line as well. So I think definitely what Sam and Vanessa are doing at Women in Horror is something really special, and we feel really grateful to be going.
But we had over 50% women above and below the line on the Heartless production. We had 2 leads, both women. Half of the production team women. We had them in big positions on the staff. So and it turned out to be what I feel is a really, really cool film. So we're really proud of our involvement in that regard too, and really happy that we got into Women in Horror. It's gonna be cool going down there and to meet Vanessa and Sam. We chatted a bit on Facebook. We've never met face to face, so it's gonna be really great meeting them.
Now I'll ask a few personal questions. Are you both fans of horror for a long period of time, or you just come into it?
Actually, I just started getting to be a really big fan about 3-4 years ago, and it's just two of my best friends are like really involved in horror, and I wanted to make movies with them, and I wanted to write something that they would be involved with, and I kept on writing stuff. My first horror script was awful, and I tried another one that wasn't that great, but then I did Heartless, and now I've written a horror feature, and I'm getting my legs underneath me as far as understanding the genre and appreciating the genre more and more, and doing my best to pay service to that genre in writing the things that I do. It's basically my friend Matt Mercer. Now that guy is an encyclopedia of horror knowledge. He's been a fan since I think he was 7 years old when he saw Halloween. I wasn't exposed to horror when I was a kid, and then I saw my first horror. I remember seeing The Lost Boys when I was in high school, and I wasn't supposed to watch that. My parents were very against horror. And I think I saw Halloween in college. I was taking an actual class when I was in film school. It was an actual horror film class. I think I watched The Shining during that time. Definitely watched Halloween. Scared the crap out of me. Just driving. It was a late night screening too, and it was like 11:30 midnight driving down. And it was Chapel Hill, North Carolina. There weren't a lot of people out, so I was scared. I was very scared. But yeah, so over time, I've watched more and more, and then just started watching more lately. Because I produced Feeding Time and got involved with Matt producing his films and working with him. So yeah, it's been a gradual process. That was a long answer to a short question, but yeah, it's been a gradual process for me.
Jennifer, ever a fan?
Yeah, so I'm coming to it also in the last few years as well. The first experience with horror was as a teenager watching Friday the 13th in the theater and just being so terrified that I haven't watched horror for a very long time. It didn't really sink in until after we did Feeding Time, and we started meeting a bunch of the other filmmakers and going to support our friends and their feature films that were screening in the Los Angeles area. And that's when I started recognizing that some of the most interesting storytelling today, I really think, is happening in independent horror. It's you never know where it's going to go. It's always a surprise, and I've actually really fallen in love with independent horror. Some of the bigger blockbusters I don't love so much still, but I really, really like seeing where directors are taking it now. So I'm a fan now.
Well, great. I'm glad to hear that. It's one of my things that I love to say about horror is that it's tailor-made for metaphor and allegory. You really can talk about anything if the people wish to talk about it. And if you don't get it, hey, you still get scared and there's a bucket of blood or whatever. But I think that's always one of the fun things about it. And I'm glad to hear that you guys are kind of getting involved in it. What do you think was the thing that you most learned to appreciate about horror now that you've been working in it?
I think what you just said, and kind of a combination of those two statements that you said and Jen said, just the fact that you can deal with you can do kind of allegorical takes on things happening in society, and zombie plagues representing this, or vampirism representing this, or even with Heartless, representing corporate aggression using an age-old horror story. I think independent horror allows for innovation. And Jen was talking about these new voices. Issa Lopez with Tigers Are Not Afraid. I mean, just the visuals in that are just astoundingly good. Was it Corley Fargeau? Is that how you pronounce it? That did Revenge. Faryette. I mean, that's a yeah. And that turned a typically male exploitation subgenre, just turned it on its head. And one of my favorite films of the year. I've seen it twice now. I'll probably watch it again. I think it was just a tremendous thing. So, I think, and that's a reaction to kind of things that are going on now, this film, and saying, hey, hold up, boys, let me show you how it's done. And I just appreciate the hell out of those two films. And I think, I guess coming back to the question, I don't know. I like the innovation with it. Jim was just talking about the blockbusters and even horror blockbusters. Just the, I guess they're a little formulaic or whatever. And then with independent horror, you just have the opportunity to take stories in a lot different, darker directions, like Goodnight Mommy or Babadook or things like that deal with things that the studios won't necessarily touch. But both were excellent films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. Somehow you've navigated all these horrible, horrible questions. You've come out relatively unscathed. And now it's time for you to let everybody know where they can see Heartless and where they can go to keep up with your work.
Sure. So the easiest way to keep up is with the website. It's heartlessmovie.com. And there's also our company's website, sunshineboyproductions.com. Both of those have where to watch pages. So you'll be able to see where it's coming next, and also buy tickets. There's ticket links to the actual festival's websites. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Heartless Movie, Sunshine Boy Productions. And we also have personal accounts too. And we really do like connecting with filmmakers, fans of film, and podcasters, everybody. So if you want to reach out to us, tweet to us, message us on Facebook, we'll be happy to chat back.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being on Hellbent for Horrible Questions, Kevin and Jennifer Sludder.
Thanks, man. That's all the questions. You don't have any more horrible questions?
I can think of a few, I can tell you. They'll all be edited, though. And for everyone who's listening, thank you so much for listening, and stay hell-bent.